All right, so once you've produced a website, you're going to want to make it live, right? Because the whole point of the internet is that it's interneted. So um, you have a couple different options here, but the main things you're going to need are hosting and domains. Okay, so the domain name is basically, if you recall, it's the name of the website, like Google or Yahoo, or mine's Teach Me Cone. What you do is you register it with the domain name system. Abbreviation DNS. The way I look at it, it's kind of like a phone book, although phone books don't exist anymore. What it does is it will associate your domain name, again, just a general term, right? So YouTube, with a specific IP address. Every computer has an IP address, or every server will. And so instead of having type in like 1.1.346.1 they'll just write in Google, and that will bring them to that specific address, right? So you have to register that. Very often when you get a website, if you go to Bluehost or GoDaddy or whatever, they'll very often throw in the domain name for free for the first year. But typically the domain name will cost you like $10 a year. It's not too bad. So it can be more or less. I don't really understand why. Sometimes it's more or less, but just be aware that. And that you can also do this in a number of places. Very often you can actually do it right directly from the same place that you are hosting your site. Okay, so that being said, besides the domain name, you need a host, right? So the host is the place that you upload or build your website. That you build or host your website. Okay, so the server is the computer that is always connected to the internet, that holds the files of the website that people visit. Okay, now it is possible to actually host your own site. So you could put your computer, right now it's connected to the internet, right? But you would have to keep that computer on at all times. And you wouldn't really be able to use it because you would have to have you'd have to have the CPU power and everything else available for potential visitors, right? Or you can just rent space on an established host service, right? So that could be, like I said, there's like Bluehost, and GoDaddy, and Squarespace, and I'm sure you know a bunch of them, right? HostGator. There's a whole slew of them. Okay. Now you might be thinking, oh, it'd be cheaper to host your own site. Believe it or not, actually, someone did the research on this, and I think it was actually cheaper just to use a host, because both from the cost of having an extra computer, the electricity and stuff that is on there, time, and that sort of stuff. There you won't if you have if you're using an internet service provider, they'll have security and stuff on built into it. You won't have to worry about it going down as often, because if it does go down, they will figure it out. So it just makes more sense in the grand scheme of things to use a hosting service. But those are the two things that you need in order to have a website on the internet.